is don't panic. I love Chipwrecked. I mean, that's great. Have we done that before on a day when the chips have
done the sarcasm, Jim. The sarcasm doesn't detract from your bad trait.
Okay,
Go
no,
ahead.
seriously, let's not panic here. Let's not panic here. Joe's exactly right. This is not a harbinger of doom for the second half. The sector got ahead of itself. We were talking about it for almost 2 weeks solid. Of course it got ahead of itself. Intel in particular, Melissa, people may not remember this because it was as long ago as last week. It went up about 5% when they exited the modem business when Apple and Qualcomm settled. So part of what's happening today is a give back from that. It was a bad quarter, but let's put the numbers to it. What we're looking at for the rest of this year is about a 4% reduction in EPS. You've got a brand new CEO, Bob Swan. Do you think maybe he's sandbagging us? Because I do, okay? I think he's lowered the bar to something that he can easily clear. I'm not worried about Intel, not worried about the chip sector. They both got ahead of themselves. The only thing that would worry me about a second-half slowdown is if the trade issues with China and the EU get worse, and I just don't see that happening.
Bryn?
Yeah, I do think on Intel it's important to understand, though, to your question about the global slowdown, the CEO was really clear. There was a dramatic slowdown in China with cloud and enterprise. And so I think as that permeates through, China and the rest of the economy as well, we have to keep a note on that, because although it's not going to talk about a slowdown into the globe globally, as we saw GDP come in at over 3%, it definitely, I think, gives us insight into what's happening in China.
Mm-hmm. How do we separate, Sarath, this GDP number that we got this morning, which is better than expected by most measures, with what Intel is saying? I mean, where should we go with these different data points that we're getting?
I think with the Intel part, especially when they looked at the data center going forward, kind of a reduction in their estimates there. But we all know cloud is growing, and maybe in China it's slowing, but if you look at AWS, you look at Microsoft,
everywhere
all
else
stellar
is growing.
earnings. But what that's also saying is that the growth of the chips going in there is not going to be just as much. It's going to be, you get margin pressure, you got a lot more competition. NVIDIA is in there as well. So I think it's kind of managing expectations, to Jim's point. I think you got to kind of retrace a little bit. All these things got really ahead of themselves because everybody was, just extrapolating linear earnings. That never happens. So maybe what we're looking at is an opportunity to kind of a little more of a pullback and get in back again and kind of reassess where we are.
Okay, so let's play this game then. And I'll go to Josh Brown since he wanted to hold Jim's feet to the fire. But, I mean, if we are to believe the data center, why are you laughing?
I'm in NVIDIA. That's down big, too.
I know. It's big.
I just tease
calling
Jim.
the kettle black at this point.
Totally.
But in terms of Intel, if they're saying, you know what, the demand for the chips going to data center may not be as robust as we've seen in the past, what else do they have for growth? They've gotten out of 5G. Last year, they telegraphed that they're not going to build out 10 nanometer. They're going to do that later on this year. What's the growth here for Intel at this point in time?
I think Intel basically grows at the pace that the industry grows, give or take. And Sarat made a really good point, which is that this is still a lumpy business. It's the industrial side of technology. Software is a breeze. You just get somebody paying monthly, and they never cancel. It's like the easiest business on earth. Enterprise, even easier. Nobody wants to cancel something once they put it in place, because now they're defending that decision to add that piece of software to the company. So that's an easy business, and that is linear, and it only goes in one direction until the economy gets bad.